Hi, I'm Evie, also known as Softestbandito online, and welcome to my YouTube channel. That sounds like such a strange sentence to come out of my mouth, but here we are. For those of you who don't know, I post about 21 Pilots on TikTok and Twitter, and a few of you, especially on TikTok, have requested for me to make a YouTube channel. So this is me trying to do that. Obviously on TikTok it's quite limited on how long you can talk for, so I'm definitely gonna start using YouTube to make longer content. My main plans for this channel is sort of compilations. If you follow me on TikTok, you will know that I like to make chaotic compilations from the tour, and the videos that I've been posting on those platforms have been like 2 minutes long. Like, I've literally had like 20 minutes of footage that I've had to compile into 2 minutes. And I just thought, why not post all 20 minutes on YouTube, you know? I also did a lore video on TikTok, basically trying to explain the entirety of the 21 Pilots lore in 10 minutes, which, as you can imagine, is quite a challenging job. Because, you know, the lore is so detailed, and some people have requested for me to, at some point, do a really in-depth retelling of the 21 Pilots lore. So I thought, okay, I'll do that on YouTube, but first I thought it would be best if I actually just introduce myself, because I'm sure there are some people on YouTube who have never seen any of my content before. So, we're going to start this channel off with a Q&A. I asked you guys to send me some questions on TikTok and Instagram. So we're going to go through some of them now. I hope that this isn't too boring, but I just thought before I got into posting properly, it made sense to just do like an introduction video. Okay, so quite a few of you asked me this one, so we're going to start with this one. But Lani on TikTok asked me, how did you hear about 21 Pilots and when did you start listening to them? I have an older sister who finds cool music a lot earlier than me, and in 2016 she was super obsessed with 21 Pilots. At the time I was like 11 years old, crazy, and before 21 Pilots I pretty much just listened to like pop music on the radio, but my sister was super obsessed with them and would always play them in the car, so I didn't really have a choice in the matter. It was kind of like, you know, when you're the younger sibling, you do not get control of the radio at all in the car. Maybe that's just a me experience, but I always had to sit in the back of the car and would listen to whatever my sister put on. So during that era, like, I was listening to like Panic at the Disco, all sorts, but none of the stuff that she played really jumped out at me except for 21 Pilots. But yeah, she would talk to me about them all the time and I would just be like, I have no idea what you're talking about. So one day I took it upon myself to go onto YouTube and search 21 Pilots, and at the time Stressed Out hadn't completely blown up yet. So the first song that came up was Car Radio. I listened to Car Radio and then listened to House of Gold, and they were the first two songs that I heard. And there is quite like a stark difference between those two songs, like sonically. It was so different to anything else that I had heard up until that point. So it really interested me. And then obviously, like I said, I would be subjected to their music in the car. That year, 2016, I ended up listening to them a lot. And then that summer, they announced the Emotional Roadshow tour in Europe, and me, my sister and my dad got tickets. I was 11 at the time we bought the tickets, but I had just turned 12. Actually, at the time of filming this, it's almost been 8 years to the day that I saw them live for the first time, which is crazy. But yeah, I saw them live in November 2016, and that was kind of like, what? It was so crazy. Like, they put on a live show that no other band could get anywhere near. So yeah, that definitely kind of cemented my interest in them. And then from that point, my interest just only grew stronger and stronger as time went on. Quite a few of you asked about my 21 Pilots journey in general. So obviously I started listening when I was 12, but I feel like it wasn't until I was 14 roundabout. It was definitely the beginning of Trench era where I really started to get like involved. And I think it was honestly my first Bandito tour show that kind of literally changed my brain chemistry. I think there was something so special about the Bandito tour. And also I feel like I was at an age where I was starting to grasp a lot more of the concepts that 21 Pilots talk about. So the first time I saw them on the Bandito tour, it was just so special. I was bawling my eyes out, I was laughing, I was screaming, I was singing along. And like, I loved my show so much that literally me and my dad ended up buying tickets to see them again the week after in London. But yeah, very, very fond memories with the Bandito tour. Mama's top version on TikTok asked me, how did this all start? And I'm assuming you mean the whole social media thing. Basically, you know, in 2020, well, actually, I started my TikTok in 2019, and it was purely to post my Bandito tour concert videos. I just needed somewhere to put them, pretty much, and, you know, I gained a few followers from that. And then 2020, it was quarantine, we were all locked down, there was nothing to do, there was nobody to speak to, and until that point I had kind of observed the 21 Pilots fan base from the outside, and then I was like, wait, maybe I should start posting properly and trying to like talk to other people and get more involved. So with nothing else to do, I started making silly little TikToks about 21 Pilots in 2020, and I think somehow by that summer I had like 10,000 followers. Don't know how that happened. I was literally just an annoying 15-year-old who was constantly on TikTok, and my whole life revolved around a band. But it's just been a really special experience, and I'm really grateful for it because I found such an amazing online community on here. And also during that time period I started doing art, and it's been so cool to find a hobby out of liking a band. Like, I did used to draw when I was little, but I stopped from like ages maybe like 12 to 14, and then I got back into it because, you know, 21 Pilots really encourage creativity and creating stuff that only you understand, and, you know, channeling what's inside out into some art. And I found that to be really helpful, and I'm really grateful that 21 Pilots have gotten me back into doing that. So that's really cool. I feel like I'm straying off topic every time I'm answering these questions, so I apologise. Literally Taijo on TikTok asked, how many 21 Pilot concerts have you been to? I've been to 14, I think. I went to one ERS show in 2016. I went to 3 Trench era shows. I did 2 Bandito concerts and 1 festival. 5 in Scaled and Icy era. I did 4 lots of takeover tour, so I did from the very smallest venue to the largest venue in London during Takeover London, which was absolutely insane. That was such an insane experience. And then I actually flew to New York to go to the Icy tour, which was absolutely surreal. I kind of wish that tour had been longer. It was quite a small little tour that they did, but it was really, really fun. It was such a fun show. And then there was an evening with 21 Pilots, which absolutely changed my brain chemistry, especially because I met them earlier that day. But it was so special to see them up close again and experience the old songs. Like, What Do You Mean I Heard Isle of Flightless Birds live, as well as Trapdoor. Like, what? And then I've done 4 Clancy tour shows, and they have just been absolutely insane this era. Like, the way that they get every single part of the arena involved and literally come to every single part of the pit, it's absolutely insane, and it's just so much fun because no matter where you end up, you're gonna have an amazing time, and it makes every show different. Like, I experienced my Clancy shows from 4 different angles, and each one was as special as the last one. Okay, we'll take a break from a 21 Pilots related one. Anna Stella on TikTok asked, Do you study at all at college or university? If so, what do you study and what year are you in? I'm from England, so I'm at university and I'm in my second year and I'm studying childhood and psychology. I feel like quite a lot of 21 Pilot fans go into psychology. I've had this conversation with some of my friends before because quite a lot of us have gone into something psychology related. I think liking 21 Pilots has definitely increased my interest in the mind and mental health and wanting to understand it better and wanting to help people. I do enjoy my course, but I also think like if I could choose again, I might have done something like social media and marketing because I really enjoy doing stuff like this. And yeah. KA3L on TikTok asked, if you could recommend just one 21 Pilot song to someone who's never heard of them, what song would you choose and why? That is such a hard question. I'd want to go with something that has like a bunch of elements of different things in it. So like I wouldn't want to pick something just like Levitate because that's all rap, and I wouldn't want to choose something like Implicit Demand for Proof that's all piano-y. I'd say Ode to Sleep is quite a good one. 21 Pilots have never confined themselves to one genre, and that's something that I really love about them. And I feel like Ode to Sleep really perfectly encompasses that mixture of genres. Like, we've got rap in there, we've got like the slower bits, we've got piano, we've got singing. Like, I just love Ode to Sleep. I definitely think something off Vessel or Trench is something that I would select because I feel like they do quite a good job of conveying the themes and the sound of 21 Pilots. Zaid on TikTok asked, what was the best era and logo of 21 Pilots? Okay, this might be a controversial opinion, but logo, I actually really liked the Psy logo. I really liked the Psy logo. I think it was different, but then also the like is iconic, you know? Like you can't ever get rid of this. I would say maybe Clancy's because it's like this but more modern. I'm not really a fan of Trench, like the double lines. You know what I'm talking about? Okay, to actually answer the best era, again, that's really hard because you can take elements from different eras. So in my personal opinion, I think Scaled and Icy is my favourite era aesthetically. Like the outfits, the colours, just everything about how it looked visually was like my favourite thing ever. People's outfits were so cute at the concerts, like the blue, the pink, the pastel, the colours, so cute. Trench era was possibly my favourite for like music videos. I feel like that was the first time we saw 21 Pilots actually like really show their storytelling skills. Jumpsuit, Nico and the Niners, Levitate, they were all such a step up in music video production than anything they'd done in the past. Clancy so far has been absolutely insane. Like, I've loved the live shows. I've been lucky enough to go to 4 already and it's been insane. Blurryface is just iconic. I always find that Blurryface was quite an iconic era for interviews.
You are taking so long, San Francisco.
Like, some of my favourite interviews are from 2015, 2016. So yeah, it's really hard because I like every era for different reasons. But I think overall, Trench era has got to be number one because it was the era that I properly fell in love with them. And I felt like I got really involved in Trench era. So for that reason, it's always going to be really like nostalgic and really special to me. A vet on TikTok asked, we know you love 21 Pilots, but what other bands / artists do you like and appreciate? So obviously 21 Pilots are my number ones. But I actually have seen a band more than 21 Pilots. So there's this little rock indie band that I like called The Vaccines. I think I've seen them 15 times. But that's largely because they're a British band and obviously they tour England a lot more often than 21 Pilots. But they're super cool. If you're looking for a super cool live band, then I would definitely recommend them because their shows are so fun and they're so interactive with the crowd. I love Olivia Rodrigo. I saw her the day after I saw 21 Pilots this year. And Billie Eilish, I adore. I started listening to Billie when I was like 14 years old. It's been really cool getting to see her grow and watch as her music and career has sort of matured and developed. Harry Styles, I love. I saw Harry Styles 3 times on Love on Tour, and he is obviously such a great performer. He's super cool. I actually went to Wales to see him, so technically Harry Styles and 21 Pilots are the only 2 artists that I've ever travelled out of the country to see. Last 4 weeks, obviously, 21 Pilots is at number 1. Who is surprised? Not me. 21 Pilots, Blossoms. Blossoms are also a British band. And again, they're super, super cool live. I actually have gotten 2 drumsticks from them. They are super, super cool. Super, super interactive with the fans. And yeah, very dancey, very vibey. Love them. Bastille. I adore Bastille. I can't remember how many times I've seen Bastille. It's probably about 7 or 8. But I started listening to them at the same time that I started listening to 21 Pilots. So they're also a band that I've grown up with. But they're super lovely guys. And yeah. So yeah, I do, contrary to popular belief, I do listen to other artists. But obviously 21 Pilots are always my number ones. Evelyn on TikTok asked, what is my favourite 21 Pilots music video? This is so hard. I love Jumpsuit with all my heart. Like, I don't think anything can recreate what it was like seeing that music video for the first time, especially because it was like the first one of the narrative. So Jumpsuit is definitely still in my top 5 to this day. The Outside, I adore. It's probably my most watched music video. I don't know of all time. It's got to be up there. It's definitely up there for me. Paladin Straight obviously is crazy. It literally feels like a mini short film. So I love Paladin. I think maybe The Outside is my favourite, and then Jumpsuit, Paladin, Nico. Okay, this one's a little juicy. Ned asked, are there any 21 Pilot songs you dislike? Now, if you'd asked me this question 4 years ago, I would have said absolutely not, no skips. I would say that there's still not a 21 Pilot song that I dislike. I feel like dislike is a strong word. However, I don't know if anyone's done it before where you do the song sorter and you can literally rank every 21 Pilot song from like number 1 to your least favourite. And I will say that pretty much every time I've done it in the last few years, Ride has ended up at the bottom. I think that Ride is cool live and I love it lyrically. And that one performance that Tyler did in 2019 on the American Bandito leg, I adore it and I think about it constantly. If that was on Spotify, I would be playing it 24/7. The recorded version of the song, I would just never listen to. Never am I ever going to go into my Spotify and think, okay, I'm going to listen to Ride. And live, it's cool because I feel like Tyler always tries to do something silly during the song to kind of spice it up. Like during Scaled and Icy and Take of a Tour, I think Ride was the crowd stand. I feel like I've blanked that out of my memory, but I'm sure Ride was the crowd stand. And then during Icy Tour, they did the whole mattress thing where Tyler would jump off a mattress. And then this tour, they started off with the Ride dads by getting dads from the crowd to sing. And then they changed it to the kids. And I think that was such a smart move. Like, The kids are adorable. Like, every single time I see those kids smiling at Tyler, it's just the cutest thing ever. So yeah, I think it's really cool how they managed to make it new every tour, because I think it is inevitable that some of those songs do, like, they have to put Ride on the set list. It's just something that has to be done. It is one of their most popular songs. So I think they do a good job of making it special and creating new memories with it for, like, the fans who have heard it a lot, you know? Lone Bandito on Instagram asked, what's one 21 Pilots song you haven't heard live that you'd want to hear? This is like an impossible question because obviously there is a lot of songs. There are a lot of songs that they've not played either ever or in a very, very long time. Aircatcher, Not Today. Not Today is the only Blurryface song that I've never heard live. I've never heard a single album entirely live by 21 Pilots, so I need Not Today at some point so I can cross that off my bucket list. I'd like to hear Doubt properly, because technically I've heard it live because they included it in the Campfire medley, but I'd like to hear it non-acoustically, because there's this one concert video where it just changed my brain chemistry of Tyler, where he's like directing the crowd, and it's like the coolest thing ever. But I think ultimately my answer to that question has to be Taxi Cab. It has been my favourite song since I was 11, 12 years old. It was like my first favourite 21, well, one of my first favourite 21 Pilot songs, so yeah, I've never heard it live, so I'd love to hear it live someday. Victor_Grujowski, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, on Instagram asked, when do you think the next 21 Pilots will come out? This is a very interesting question. A surface level answer to this, I would just say somewhere in the next 3 years, because it usually takes them 3 years. Their album cycles usually last somewhere between like 2.5, 3.5 years. So it would make sense if something didn't come out until like 2027, 2026, because, you know, Clancy has literally just come out. However, and I'll talk about this properly in my big lore explanation video at some point, but we all know that something is probably going to happen in 2025 that will be pretty big. Obviously, we haven't had an ending to the narrative yet, like a concrete ending, and in the digital remains that 21 Pilots put out earlier this year, it said something like Clancy Ultimate Chapter 25. So we're gonna get something to condense, something to bring the story together in 2025. Is that new music? Who knows? Never say never. Never say never. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't know if it would be a full album, but I'm definitely not ruling out the fact that we could get new music next year. Who knows? Jamie Warner, Jamie, I love you, on Instagram asked, what has been your favourite venue you've seen 21 Pilots at? It's a really hard question. I've been lucky enough to see 21 Pilots at arenas, but also at the small shows. And those small shows have just been something so special. I think my top 3 have to be Brixton. For those who don't know, Brixton is the very first venue that 21 Pilots played during the Trench era. It was where they debuted My Blood for the first time. I got to see them play there on Takeover Tour, and you could tell that it's a really special venue to Tyler, and he just kept saying about how special and beautiful the venue is to him, and that it just reminds him of feeling like he's in a dream. And hearing him say that and being a part of that was really, really cool. Second maybe has to be Camden Assembly. That was the smallest show that they've played in a decade. And I got to see them and it was so cool. it was so weird. Like, it was literally like a 200 capacity room, and I think they oversold it, so there was more people there, but it was a room that hosted 200 people, and there was probably like 300 people in there. But literally I was this close. Well, no, Tyler was like here and Josh was over there somewhere, and it was surreal. The only reason it's not number one is because it was so small. Like, everyone was literally getting crushed. Like, you could not move at all. And, you know, it was like, you literally couldn't move the whole show. But it was still like such a surreal experience. And being crushed and being hot doesn't take away from how special and incredible that show was. I think venue-wise, I actually quite liked Electric Ballroom once we were inside. That's also a small show they did in London recently on the Clancy tour, and it was small but not tiny, so everyone had enough space, but then it was still really intimate. So I was second row for that, and I was still really close to Tyler, and yeah, it was really special. And I think those intimate shows, it's just a feeling that cannot be replicated. The arena shows are so incredible and equally as special and entertaining, but in a different way. But a lot of the bands that I go see in concert play those kind of small venues, so it was really special to see a band like 21 Pilots in those same venues. Okay, I'm sure I've rambled enough, so I'm gonna stop the questions there. And I apologise if this has been really, really boring, and I promise that my videos are going to be a lot better from here. I just didn't want to jump straight into it without doing some kind of introduction first, especially because I don't want to assume that everyone who's watching this will have seen my content before. I'm sure that a lot of you have probably come from TikTok, and I appreciate that so much. But yeah, I hope you feel like you know me a little bit better now, and I hope you enjoy the 21 Pilots content that I make on here. I'm not quite sure yet how often I'm going to post on here. I think definitely more than once a month. But anyways, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. I feel like I'm living out a childhood dream right now. Like, you know when you always used to watch YouTube and they'd be like, go subscribe and hit the bell. No pressure, but if you want to see some more, maybe subscribe. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Again, I hope this hasn't bored you, but I'll see you with the next video. Bye!